everyone, how's it going? Are you hanging in there? Hopefully you're settling in and your day is starting to go a little bit more smoothly as you're starting the homeschool process. Today we are going over lessons 9 through 12. So here's a list of supplies you're going to need. So you're going to need the lessons manual, the student worksheets, the AL abacus, the math balance, and the math card games manual. All right, let's get started. Go ahead and turn to lesson 9. For this day, you're going to use your worksheet 2, which your child started last week. Your child will also need to use the journal pages, which is in the back of the student worksheets. Okay, so there's the student worksheets, and if you'll remember, the student journal pages is in the back, and they look like this. In this lesson, your child is going to work on math facts that total 9, 10, and 11. Now for each sum, which if you're not familiar, sum is simply the solution to an addition problem. So for each sum of 9, 10, or 11, it is divided out into separate sections of the lesson. So there's a section on the sum of 10, then the section on 11s, and then the section of 9s. For each of those sections, your child is going to do 4 things. They're going to build the math facts on the math balance. They're going to show the math facts on the AL abacus. They're going to write the math facts in their journal, and then they're going to write those same math facts and continue with the chart on worksheet 2. By the way, I have also found it helpful to have the child say the problems out loud as they're building them. It really does help them retain the math fact. So for example, if they're building 10 equals 1 plus 9 or 1 plus 9 equals 10, I would have them say that out loud. It really does help them retain and learn those math facts. One thing I really struggled on with lessons like these, I am a very systematic person. However, I have a couple kids who are not so systematic. So if you look into the middle of the first page of the lesson, it has the child build those math facts. 10 equals 1 plus 9, 10 equals 2 plus 8, 10 equals 3 plus 7. Nice and orderly, right? But my children like to be very out of order. So they would start with, 10 equals 3 plus 7, and then 10 equals 1 plus 9, and then they would just bounce around. If your child does that, then let them do so to begin with. However, they will most likely, well, at least if they're like my children, find that they're missing a math fact or 2. At that point, then share with them the strategy of keeping the problems in numerical sequence. Let them see how not keeping the numbers in numerical sequence can make things a bit more difficult. Allow your child to discover the benefit of systematic thinking. Don't be so quick to tell your child how to do something. Let them first do it on their own, and then share your wisdom with them after they start to see the problems with it. It will really help them understand why they should do something a certain way. All right, so lesson 9 ends with the game Go to the Dump with 9s. And this game is just like the regular Go to Dump, but the numbers need to total 9. The sum of 9. If your child struggles with their math facts of 10, however, then you do not want to use this variation yet. Keep using the regular Go to the Dump game until your child has those math facts of 10 down. All right, let's go ahead and turn to lesson 10. In this lesson, you'll see that there are quite a few problems in the warm-up section. You really only want to spend about 5 minutes on the warm-up section. So if it goes longer, you will want to just spot check on some of those questions and not necessarily do all of them. For example, if you look in the first paragraph, if my child is a slow processor and I know I'm going to need to pull back some of the problems, I will probably ask them, ask the first couple questions. What do you need to do with 6 to make 10? What do you need to do with 6 to make 11? If my child knows those problems correctly, I answer those problems correctly, then I'm going to go on to the next section. If they struggle with that, or if I'm starting to see, ooh, they don't really know this, I'm going to circle that, and we are going to play some math card games later. In lesson 10, your child will learn more ways to solve basic math facts by introducing and explaining various strategies. Actually, strategies are going to be introduced all week long. So do not think that your child needs to master or memorize each and every one of these strategies. The goal is to help your child solve these math facts faster. By using these strategies, your child will be able to get to the solutions quicker. And these strategies may also help the struggling students know their math facts and get quicker at solving those math facts. This lesson covers one of my favorite strategies, the 2-5 strategies, which you'll find part of the way down on the first page of lesson 10. Let me show you how it works and how quickly your child can answer problems when they can visualize the abacus in their mind. Okay, so the strategy we are working on is the 2-5 strategy. And you know, if we have 2 5s, that equals 10, right? So that is what we're going to build on. Let's take a look at 9 plus 6. We see the 2 5s. How many yellow beads do we have? We have 5 yellow beads, which means we have 15. The answer to 9 plus 6 is 15. Let's try another one. 7 plus 7. How many yellow beads are there? 4. The answer to 7 plus 7 is 14. Now, notice on the second page of the lesson, in the middle, you're going to see the section that's called Writing the Equations Optional. If your child has difficulty in writing problems, like I have 2 dyslexic children and they struggle with their writing, especially if they have to do a lot of writing. If that is the case with your child, then you do not want to do this particular section of the lesson. However, you can substitute this section of the lesson by doing one of the followings. First, use the whiteboard. Some children, like my child, struggle with writing on paper, but they do fine with writing on the whiteboard. So I had my children write these equations up on the whiteboard. Another option, if your child doesn't like the whiteboard and they still struggle with writing, then you can do the math fact problems on the math balance. Or you can have your child recite the math facts to you, and you can either write them on the whiteboard or put them on the math journal for your child. Now, the math card game for lesson 10 is one of my kids' favorite games. It's called Addition War, and we have a blog written for this game with extra instructions. So let me show you how to get to our blog page on our website. Okay, so here's our website, www.rightstartmath.com. And what you're going to want to do is click on blog, and then you will go to our blog page. Now over here, you'll see these categories. You can click on card games, which will pull in only the card game blogs. And a number of our card games have actual videos attached to it as well. If you are looking for a specific game, like we are today, you can go up here to the very top, this top bar, and you can type in what game you're looking for. So we're going to type in Addition War. Oops. Computer's not wanting to work. There we go. All right, and you can see that there is a summer game in 2017, summer game number 1 called War. If you click on that, that is going to bring in the instructions for how to play the card game War. Okay, let's move on to lesson 11. Again, you will see another day with quite a few questions in the warm-up. These questions are there to see if your child is doing well with their math facts and the other skills that they're learning. If they struggle, then you're going to want to play some extra math card games. In lesson 11, you're going to help your child learn their doubles and near doubles addition math facts. The same process is going to be used in this lesson as in the previous lessons before. There we'll use the abacus, the math journal pages, and continue to work in worksheet 2 on the doubles and near doubles. Now, if your child really liked the math balance in the previous lessons and you do not see that it's not in here, if they love using the math balance, then go ahead and get that out if it's helpful for their learning. So just because it's not listed in the lesson doesn't mean that you cannot do it, right? So you're going to use what you can use to help your child learn these math facts better. Okay, now take a look at the middle of the second page of the lesson. It says, look under the title, Doubles Solitaire Game, again, optional. If your child knows their double math facts well, then you do not need to play this game. Go ahead and move on in the lesson. The concept near doubles, which you'll find after that, it says near double strategy. The concept of near doubles was new to me when I started teaching my children. So just to kind of give you information, basically near doubles are numbers that are consecutive to each other, like next to each other in the counting order. So for example, 5 plus 6, 1 plus 2, 7 plus 8, 5 plus 4. Those are just some examples. At the end of lesson 11 is the near doubles solitaire game. Now, if your child is struggling with their doubles math facts, then you're going to want to spend a little more time playing the doubles solitaire game until those math facts are down before you start playing the near doubles solitaire game. All right, let's go ahead and turn to lesson 12, the last lesson of the week. Again, the warm-up should take you 5 minutes or less. Do I sound like a broken record? If it is taking your child longer than that, because your child is struggling with their math facts, you need to do what? You need to play a math card game. Great, you guys are catching on quickly. In this lesson, you will work on 2 more addition strategies. The first strategy is called adding 9s with making 10 strategy. When I started teaching my kids all of these strategies, they started to kind of blur in my head and in my kids' minds as well. So I started to rename them using more fun names to help my kids remember and to add a little bit of fun to the lesson. So for the strategy, adding 9 with making 10, I called this the magic 9. And I know I was very dramatic. But in this strategy, the 9 magically becomes 10, but with a little help from the 1's place value. Let me show you how it works. All right, so this is the adding 9 with the making 10 strategy, which I called the magic 9. And how it works is you have a problem that adds 9 to a number. So here I have 9 plus 3. Now, as you know, it is much easier to add 10 to any number, isn't it? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to want to make the 9 turn into a 10 to make it easier to add. But if we do that, we have to make some exchange of some beads. To make the 9 a 10, I have to bring a bead over here, and I have to exchange it for a bead down here. So I always play the trading game. On your mark, get set, trade. And there, we changed our 9 into a 10, and our 3 turned into a 2. We added 1 to 9. We subtracted 1 from 3. Our answer now is 12. So let's take a look at another one. Let's do 9 plus 7. Here we're going to, again, trade beads. On your mark, get set, go. And we now have 10 and 6. And my kids got to the place where they were actually seeing the 9 and thinking 10, and they saw the 7 and thought 6, and immediately were able to answer 16. The next strategy taught is on the second page of the lesson, and you can find it under the heading adding 8. Because this strategy was very similar to the first one, I called it the almost magic 8, with the backstory that the number 8 wanted so much to be like the number 9, but it was having a bit of difficulty to make the magical change to 10. Of course, this is me being really silly in math, but that's okay. Remember, we want to add fun to the lessons. You can come up with your own strategy names and ideas if you want. You may even want to have your kids name their strategies themselves. So let me walk you through one of the problems. So if we're looking at 8 plus 3, the child should first notice the number 8. That's going to be their cue that this strategy is going to work. So they're going to see 8, they're going to think 10. Then they're going to see the number 3, here, 3, and then they're going to pull 2 away from it, okay, giving them 1. So the answer is 11. Let's try another one. 8 plus 7. They see 8, they think 10, and your child will see the 7, subtract 2, giving them 5. So the answer is 15. That's how it works. This really saves your child a lot of time solving problems, especially if they're using counting on their fingers, if they're just figuring it out. So 8 plus 7, they'll start with 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, okay? We want to pull them away from the counting, and if strategies help, we really want them to use that. Okay, the game for lesson 12 is called On the Number Game, but you want to use target number of 18. Now, there is a version of this game on our blog page. It's called the 2018 Summer Game number 13 on the number 10. Now, in the example on the blog, the target number is 10, but you are going to want to use 18 as the target when you play the game for this lesson. All right, so now you're ready for another week. Don't forget that if you have any questions, concerns, worries about how your child is learning, email us or call us for help. We are here to help you. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week when we talk about lessons 13 through 16. Bye, everybody.